Hey, David, you know what makes our show great?
What's that, Kevin?
No ads. You know what would make it better?
What's that, Kevin?
Ads.
What if, and I'm just spitballing here, we do ads for independent creators at reasonable rates?
How reasonable?
Overly. How about $2 per episode pre-roll?
That is almost too reasonable.
Might as well go for it. Let's send everyone to the contact page for Supernatural Selection.
SupernaturalSelectionPod.com/contact?
Exactly. Just have them scroll down to the Advertise With Us section for more information.
That sounds great. Now let's record the ad.
Kevin,
Yes, David?
we just did.
Oh, wow. Wow, man. That is...
Nice.
Well, that's staying
I'm gonna
in.
quit there.
I just could never master that.
Like the Enterprise,
Pubes-
it stops with G. No,
pubescent skill.
yeah, no, me and my friends used to do that. But that being said, hello and welcome to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin the Bastard. With me this week are Mike the Skeptic. How are you, Mike?
Well, instead of like fake burping, as right at that time, I discovered masturbation. So you know how that goes.
That's called dick burping. And we've got Mr. David Davis. David, how are you?
I'm doing better. Both of my holes are intact.
Thank God. You don't want to blow both your O-rings.
It was a bad couple days, gentlemen.
Yeah, yep.
It sounded like it. That's never a fun time when you're running out of both ends.
Tell me, did you have constipated diarrhea or...
Nope, it flowed like water.
Okay.
It was like the muddy Mississippi.
Like water for chocolate. So,
Whereas me, on the other hand, I decided to make new holes in my body.
yes, Mike, Mike, between the last episode we did and this week, had something fun happen.
Yeah, I was decided. It was a beautiful day. I had just renewed so I have a motorcycle. I had just it's a 2007 Buell Firebolt. I just renewed the tag, so I was like, I'm gonna ride to work. Kevin's off today. I can, take the bike. And it was a beautiful day, not even warm at all.
Yeah, no, just gorgeous outside.
So, 2 blocks from my house, I decided I wanted to like kneel and slide along the pavement, and that's what I did. And so I have a
Basically,
nice...
the bike slipped out from under you, right?
Yeah. So I was in a turn. I think so. I hadn't ridden any this year, so my thoughts are either it was dirty tires or just I hit one of the paint markings on the lane because I was in a turn lane, obviously because I was turning left to get on the interstate, and I might have hit the either the painted stripe for where you're supposed to stop or the arrow or something, or my tires could have been dirty or all of the above. But I started to lean into the turn, and the bike just went whoop out from under me, and so I have a nice big scrape on one of my knees. On the other knee,
How's the bike?
Oh, the bike. So they broke the shifter and the left mirror.
Ooh.
The left mirror, I think
Yeah.
I have all the parts to fix because it didn't shatter it. It just broke like where.
Off.
So it was like a mirror and a stalk, and then like the base. It broke part of the base, but I'm pretty sure I have another base somewhere because mirrors are one of those things on motorcycles. They just break all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You're going to be putting new mirrors and blinkers. Mirrors and blinkers are like consumables on a motorcycle. So I think I have another one of those.
Yeah.
The shifter is going to be a little more of an issue because I found out the other day, so it's a linkage, and I think part of the linkage is bent, and then the bolt sheared off where the shifter bolts on. So I mean, but it's fixable. That's the
Right,
thing.
right,
It's
right.
fixable. My leg, I I missed like half an hour of work, so I was late to work, but I still worked the full day.
Yeah.
So
Now,
has not slowed me down. It could have been worse, and I am gonna buy some armored pants after this before I ride again.
emergency pants.
Well, no, just I guess in an emergency, yes, because if I had been wearing armored pants, I there would have been no problems.
Right. Now, Mike, this scrape on your leg, how big is that?
I'd say it's about 6 square inches.
Yeah.
The worst one.
Yes.
Like there was another one lower down that was more like, like if you had just fallen and skinched your knee on the concrete or something.
Right.
And then on the right knee, there's like about a quarter size one.
Yeah, I'd say when it first happened, it was like palm-sized, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly, but also every time I looked at it, it made me kind of want steak.
It kind of looks like steakums.
It does look a bit like steakums, and goddamn do I want some steakums now.
Yeah, in fact, since it's healing now, I just looked down at it. It's more pinkish, so it's
Yeah.
even more appetizing.
I
now.
know, dude. It's like good pork before you cook it.
Oh yeah, I had my because I also had that finger thing going on as well. Yeah, where I had to go to the ER and
I heard about
you can either get the shot, which is going to hurt more, or I can just take the scalpel and cut open the finger. I'm like, just cut it open. It was pretty raw. Like, it's healing up well,
Yeah.
but like it was pretty bad.
This is
Where does that come from? Like your finger just decides one day to get infected or some shit?
No, it's because I have a terrible habit. I am a nail biter.
oh.
I got it from my mother, and I had an infected hangnail.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering for a while. Kevin's a
Finger picker.
finger picker. Like he's got no fingerprints on some of his fingers.
Yeah.
He'd be a perfect thief.
I am a perfect man in black right now.
I just realized that we are very bodily oriented in this introduction.
Yes.
We are, but I mean, like, this has been a hell of a year for us bodily, so.
Like a couple of weeks for us, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was in the hospital for, 3 months out of last year, so shit.
But you know what? We may be having some issues with our bodies, but we need to turn our attention to our souls.
Very nice segue.
Pivot
and-
master there.
damn, son.
Almost like we pay you or something.
Yeah, I know. So this week we're starting a new series, like yours. This is going to take place, spaced out, but we're going to be talking about the subject of what could be considered fake religions. Mm-hmm. And the first one I wanted to go into is one that has definitely seized my horrid little heart. We're going to be talking about Discordia. Or Discordianism.
So you said fake religions, and part of me just wanted to,
I-
from the bottom of my
I-
soul, wanted the atheist agnostic wanted to say, "What, you mean all of them?"
How about joke religions?
Okay, how about
Modern joke religions.
I would say, how about religions that don't take themselves
Satire.
seriously?
Satire religions.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. There we go. And we're going to be talking about Discordianism, which, like David said in one episode, I have in fact become a zealot. So, our sources for this week, and I want to get those out of the way real quick, are the Principia Discordia, which there's no real good way to pronounce it. Mike, you took Latin. How do you say Principia or Principia?
I don't know, because I failed Latin.
Okay, well, Robert, the host of Behind the Bastards, kept saying Principia, and I'm going to strangle him if I ever meet him for that.
That sounds wrong.
Yeah, Robert likes to do that, though.
Yeah, Principia Discordia by Malaclips the Younger and Omar Ravenhurst. That's their Pope names, of course. Mm-hmm. Also, it's Chasing Eris by Brenton Clutterbuck. This is a very good book looking at the time. It's like a very good snapshot of the modern Discordian movement in 2018, and I do highly recommend the book. You can find it on Kindle. Behind the Bastards, Complete History of the Illuminati by Robert Evans. fantastic series. It's a 6-parter, talks a lot about Discordianism. Probably better than I'm going to do, but I'm taking it at a different angle, not so much the history. And lastly, the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea. If you've ever wondered what Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide would have been like if he had dropped acid and were paranoid, this is it. So I highly recommend, honestly, every single thing I just mentioned. If you want to learn about Discordianism, all 4 of those are great places to start. Now,
Oh, and speaking of Discord, I do apologize to listeners because my cat is being a little shit right now.
yes, your cat is a tool of the goddess Eris.
So according to Google, it's Principia. It does have the E.
Principia. Okay, Principia.
Yeah, so stress on the third syllable.
Principia. You say it like Italian.
Yes.
Principia Discordia. Because, I mean, that's, they were Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, before I really launch into this, what did you two know about Discordianism before I dragged you kicking and screaming to the feet of the goddess Eris?
Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. I didn't even know this shit existed before you started your rambling, incoherent jibber-jabber.
I gotta imagine it had to be really intense from Mike's point of view because
Oh.
Mike's just living his life, and then all of a sudden you start ranting about the goddess Eris.
It's like
immediately.
it's like being tackled philosophically.
Yeah.
I'm like just
You get
bopping
psychically
along.
sacked.
Yeah, bopping along, living my life, in my lane, and then in comes Kevin with this crazy bullshit he's reading.
Yeah, me just
And
running in
like,
screaming, I've seen the Fnords!
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just come in screaming about enlightenment through madness.
I expect Kevin to start buying tracksuits and Nikes soon.
Oh, I need a tracksuit. How about you, David?
Well, I mean, I've kind of been on the periphery of it, but I didn't really dive into it. I knew that it was a parody of religion, and I knew of some of the texts, such as the Illuminatus trilogy. And I was aware that Discordians kind of ran through the media I love, though.
Right.
They're kind of everywhere.
Which, after doing research into this, I am shocked how much this has influenced every fucking thing in my life in some way. Like, there are just people that, are major influences on me that are Discordians, and I had no fucking idea. So, so let's start with what the hell this thing is. So, telling the story of Discordianism has been difficult for me, and that's mostly because it's something different to everyone you ask about it. I mean, to some, it's a tool for political activism via Operation Mindfuck with its roots firmly in 60s counterculture. And to others, it's a philosophy that lets them deal with the chaos of life and have a little fun doing it, which is more my bag. And to others still, it's a real, honest-to-goddess religion involving the worship of Eris/Discordia and often leads into chaos magic. It just gets more complicated when you realize it's each of those things, it's all of those things, and it's none of those things all at the same time.
All right, that's out.
I'm already exhausted.
Screw you assholes. I'm going to, I don't know, masturbate. Something. Anything else.
Now,
Well, that is technically part of a chaos magic ritual.
yeah,
so
you just gotta come on a sigil.
Man.
You're in.
You're already in, Mike. All you have to do is just aim it, and
Yep.
You're practicing magic.
Yep.
But what if it's just a old sock?
You have committed a sin. No. Now, this thing is also definitely a very silly idea created by two young men drinking in an all-night bowling alley in California. A lot of people have called it a Monty Python religion, and in some ways that is very, very true. It found a major home online during the early days of the web, but we'll get into that later.
So one of the things I adore is like that it has these three facets, and depending on my mood, I can see myself like sliding deeper into any one of them the further I get into this. If I had like a branch Discordia I'm most closely aligned with, though, it would probably be with the Operation Mindfuck camp.
Okay, Operation Mindfuck Camp and Branch Discordia just sounds like you're going to be in Waco, Texas, building a compound.
You know, and I am a
FBI's coming
David,
after you.
so, you know,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
odds are stacked against me, and I do want to buy a compound one day.
Oh,
so.
God, we're
Don't we
fucked.
all?
Yeah, honestly, I
like-
think we've always had, you, me, Mike, have always had that idea.
Like,
Man, we need like a big piece of land. All of our friends can live on it, and then we can amass guns.
Yeah, I mean, I like being near cities, but I also like the idea of a big spread that, like,
Oh, yeah.
all my peeps could, like, if not live on permanently, at least come visit.
I just like
Yeah.
defensible positions.
Or
This
that too.
it really kind of sounds like the Discordia house in Texas, which is something I don't have in the outline, but it's mentioned. It sounds a lot like the Fight Club house, but with like 20 people doing mud wrestling and the cops joining in,
It's like Fight Club, but for philosophy nerds.
and just nerds in general. Yeah.
Like dudes who are as high as balls, sweating their ass off in Texas, like talking about like religion.
Yes. So
Wow, that sounds terrible.
I know.
That sounds not productive.
Well, actually, it's a lot more fun. The story of that house actually reads like the movie PCU.
Ah, yes.
So
There's some incredible stories, like, and you know, we're gonna be revisiting this topic,
Oh,
I'm sure, a couple
yes.
more times.
yeah,
'cause
we're gonna.
there's gonna be some seeds that are sown in here, where it's just like, you know, Kevin's gonna say something, and then you're just gonna be like, wait, what?
Yeah, and or somebody's gonna be like, "Well, that's an episode waiting to happen." So yeah,
Yeah.
So let's tackle the easiest part of this first, which is the most confusing part, but also the most logical: the philosophy of Discordianism. So the general idea is put forward by Malaclips the Younger and Omar Ravenhurst in the Principia Discordia is that the natural state of the universe is chaos, and order is merely the structure that humanity applies to chaos in an attempt to find some sense of meaning, and in a sense, they aren't wrong about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of appears that way regarding physics as far as I understand it. And I feel like a lot of our more modern understanding of physics and the development of the Discordianism probably have a lot more crossover than people would think.
You know, it is inextricably linked with chaos theory and chaos magic because of this worldview. So, now they use the term grids in the Principia, but let's just break it all the way down. All right.
Now, before we move forward, I do want to point out that one of the ways in which cults are able to grow is by creating their own terminology and language.
Which is why I'm not using it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm not using the term grids, all right? I saw what they were doing when I read the fucking book. I'm like, no. I've read too many cult
You're a
things.
believer, but you're a self-aware believer.
Absolutely, and that's the best kind of Discordian. So, order is everything we have constructed in our minds and society. Laws, education, family, religion, personal beliefs, opinions, they're all just the, quote, grid that they discuss that we use to view the world through. And from your grid, some things make sense and are truths. To someone else who's been raised in another culture and a different experience, your truths are bullshit. And to you, theirs are going to be bullshit. And the only truth, capital T, is that nothing is true, especially the fact that nothing is true. Now, all of this is based around the last words of Hassan il-Sabah. And if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, you're going to recognize this quote: "Nothing is true, everything is permitted."
I'm already exhausted.
I know. It's a lot to start
But like,
with.
Everything's
it
kind
makes
of-
sense though.
Everything's a loaded.
I know.
term.
And when we do the episode on Ravenhurst, whose real name is Carrie Thornley, we're going to see that everything is a bad way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy tried to live that, and it was not good.
Without going into the specifics, there's at least one thing I can think of.
Pedophilia, Mike.
Yes.
Yes.
I would
yes.
not
Not everything is permitted, but
like I can even so not exactly murder, but taking a life, I can kind of see
within certain parameters.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's defensible, but yeah.
No, pedophilia is no. Bad man. Bad.
I mean, yeah.
Again,
I could come up with some scenarios, but even then, I'm like, well, we'll wait 5 years.
Wait, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But nonetheless, it's all based around that one phrase, nothing is true, everything is permitted.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, the Discordians believe that if the truth of the world is chaos, and there's truly no meaning, then why not have as much fun with it as possible? And a perfect example of this is the Pentabarf. Now, the Pentabarf is the list of the 5 holy tenets of the faith of Discordianism.
So it's not what David was doing a week and a half ago?
No, that was the Bibarf.
Okay.
It's like the Bifrost, but both ends. So
it was not all sunshine and rainbows. It was mostly yellow.
Yes. Oh, God. It sounds like bile and piss. So I'm going to read you guys the Pentabarf. I don't know if we've ever read this on the show before, but we're going to do it now. So, know ye this, O man of faith. 1. There is no goddess but goddess, and she is your goddess. There is no Aresian movement but the Aresian movement, and it is the Aresian movement. And every golden apple core is the beloved home of a golden worm. Nice.
Now, we should also mention that Apple Core there mentioned.
Yes, that is actually an organization with what they call the POEE, which is the
But they're
major...
also going for that word play of
Yes.
a worm in the core of the apple. It's cute. Like, this is a bunch of fucking writing nerds coming up with a religion. You're going to get shit like this.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not Steve Jobs' fluffers?
No.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. 2. A Discordian shall always use the official Discordian document numbering system. Nowhere in the Principia Discordia does it tell you what that system is.
Just figure it out, man.
Yep. 3. A Discordian is required during his early illumination to go off alone and partake joyously of a hot dog on a Friday. This devotive ceremony to remonstrate against the popular paganisms of the day, of Catholic Christendom, no meat on Friday, of Judaism, no meat of pork, of Hindic peoples, no meat of beef, of Buddhists, no meat of animal, and of Discordians, no hot dog buns.
So you're disavowing even the religion you're applying to.
Yes.
Okay. I think I've had a hot dog on a Friday before, so
Yeah.
I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah. 4. A Discordian shall partake of no hot dog buns, for such was the solace of our goddess when she was confronted with the original snub. We'll get into what the original snub is in a little bit. 5. A Discordian is prohibited of believing what he reads. It is so written, so be it. Hail Discordia. Discordia. Prosecutors will be transgressicuted.
These fucking nerds.
I know. But it's great, isn't it?
It is a lot of fun. It's just, again, it's very, very bored, smart people. The early vestiges, the early parts of the counterculture, and just...
It's 2 young people with fake IDs drinking in an all-night bowling alley just shooting the shit.
So, in other words, you have to have eaten the 9th and 10th hot dog. You know what those are?
The ones that aren't in the pack.
No. So you buy the pack of hot dogs and you buy a pack of buns.
Right.
You eat hot dogs 1 through 8, which are hot dogs on buns, because the hot dogs come in 10 and the buns come in 8. So you have 2 hot dogs left over. You cut those in half and put them on regular bread. So it's not a bun anymore.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have eaten a hot dog, but not the bun.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is the Discordians have managed to work their way into the meatpacking industry. That's why there's those 2 extra hot dogs.
yes, that's for your true believers.
And does corn dog count?
No, because that's not a bun.
Or a hot dog? It's a dog, but it's hot, but it's not a hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
But is it a sandwich?
we are not having this argument fucking again.
That is a religious argument for another time.
That is this friendship is over argument in a lot of ways. Now,
Is ketchup a smoothie?
oh God, as silly as this entire thing can be, there's some very interesting ideas in the Principia, and they are surprisingly liberating. If everything is chaos, then the only meaning comes from what you choose to give meaning. Basically, choose the fucks you give.
Reminds me of a certain path.
Okay, what path?
The left-hand path.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes, there's
Yeah.
so much magical thinking in this.
It just reminds me of that I'm all out of fucks to give song.
I have no more fucks to give.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, before we move on, I am extremely curious what you two think so far.
Do you have something, Mike, or should I go?
Go ahead.
So I think they should have called it Funcraftian. Because, in all honesty, it feels a lot to me like cosmicism and something. It'd probably take like a whole script for me to explain how this correlates. Or I could just wait for Wisecrack to do some video about this idea at some point. It's just, again, it's like you look at the void, and instead of like shutting down looking at the void, you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah,
And
no,
you throw a
it's,
hot dog into the void.
it's liberating as hell, man. It's actually helped my mental health a lot the past few weeks. But it's also been called Zen for round eyes was the term they used.
So
Yeah, there's some problematic language. in some
There
of this stuff.
is.
well,
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of flipped on its head. Problematic language.
Yes.
I mean, it's just taking the opposite.
Yes.
It's like you know,
we're getting the negative term.
it's the pale face, but you know, on
Yeah.
the other hand,
Yeah, and when you read the Principia, you do have to remember this was started in 58 or 59. They really don't remember when this happened, and they were printing up copies on the guy's Xerox machine that was investigating the Kennedy assassination.
So
And then there's also like a huge punk element to this as well, which could be an entire episode on its own.
This is a beginning of zine culture.
yeah,
Like I would say it's the beginning of the punk movement in general.
So
yes,
it's-
now that I'm really thinking about it.
it sounds a lot like it's an intellectual counterculture.
It is.
Whereas the traditional, I'm using air quotes here, counterculture of like hippies and stuff was more of the
Far out, man.
bro dude counterculture.
Not that there wasn't like a shit ton of LSD involved in the formation of Discordianism.
I'm saying Discordianism seems like it's like for I don't want to.
It's
like,
more
be elitist.
thought provoking.
Like if the lit
So-
majors decided they wanted to start
Yeah.
a religion
Yeah,
after
saying-
they had like smoked a bowl.
I'm saying the
Yes.
more intellectually inclined would gravitate towards this, whereas the more I'm trying to think of not a like
Not
derogatory.
I don't want to say
way-
Well, just like the
shallow.
more mainstream, the
The
mainstream,
mainstream
counterculture.
counterculture.
The-
Yeah.
the more-
This is the counterculture to the counterculture.
Yeah.
This is like the anarchic.
would go like
counterculture.
hippie.
Yes.
like
the
it's
ones
a-
that
it's
still
all-
went to college.
It's a more intellectual alternative to the hippies.
And this is
what I'm
in no
thinking.
way saying, yeah, man, you're totally right about Rick and Morty. It is so you so have to be smart to
You
get
have
that
to
shit.
have you have to have a 190 IQ to understand
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
No, like again, like even though like there is this kind of intellectualism attached to Discordianism, the hippies were fucking there too, man.
Oh, yeah.
they were fucking there, man.
Yeah. So the philosophy, like I said, that's probably the most simple part of it. To me, anyway.
Like what I like is that it is, yeah, as you said, Kevin, it's very, very freeing when you realize that like you can just kind of treat everything as a joke to a degree, not
Not
entirely,
no,
but
there's Yeah.
But there's that darker aspect to it that does crop up, and that we are kind of dealing with the repercussions of now.
And there is actually also a book that was written a little while back called The Black Iron Prison, that was a modern attempt to write a new Discordian book that wrote about the philosophy but took all the humor out. And there are some people that were like, yes, finally, something like this. And most Discordians were like, well, if you take the jokes out, what's the fucking point?
If you're not having fun, why do it?
Exactly.
Well, and then, the other thing is, one of the most hilarious things about Discordianism, and I'm sure we're going to get to it, but the idea is that it was taking the piss out of, like, this idea of, like, an Illuminati.
Yes.
And ends up creating believers in the Illuminati.
Yes, because one of their major... we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's move on to them as a movement. And David, this is...
Bowel movement?
Yeah, maybe. David, I know that you're going to have some thoughts and stuff you want to share on this, because this is your favorite aspect of Discordianism.
Yeah, it's fun.
Discordianism as a political movement, of course, began in the counterculture in the 1960s. Kerry Thornley, the real name, as I said, of Omar Ravenhurst, was being investigated for possible links to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And that's going to be a whole episode in and of itself, because
it is an absolutely amazing story.
It's insane. It is amazing. I mean, like, what the fuck? It's like a counterculture Forrest Gump. So Thornley, a friend of his that he met named Robert Anton Wilson, another prominent Discordian and author, and other members of their circle, while he was being investigated, started feeding the people investigating them false info about the Illuminati being responsible for the murder of JFK. Which is fucking great, because the lead investigator was paranoid and convinced that it was an Illuminati plot. So they just fucking doubled down on it. And that was the beginning of Operation Mindfuck.
This is just absolutely my favorite thing about Discordianism. It is also the most intensely problematic thing, and probably the dark legacy of all of this. As fun as all of this is, this kind of sets off a trail of basically what is intellectual and cultural destruction.
Well, when you're doing a counterculture movement, you can't really copyright your methods. So, yeah. And we're going to do an entire episode about Operation Mindfuck, because holy shit. So Operation Mindfuck is essentially culture jamming. Are you guys familiar with the term culture jamming?
It wasn't that the D&D space setting?
No, it was space. That was Spelljammers.
Oh, damn it.
Man, I almost fucked that one up.
I thought it was like a skill in Netrunner.
No, but I'm sure it's somewhere in Cyberpunk 2077, which, man, I've never seen so many T-poses in a game before. But the basic idea is disruption of normal operations in society by gumming up the works with nonsense and things that break people out of their normal routines.
Oh, so like, the Men in Black and UFOs and...
Sort of.
What about flash mobs? Would we count
Flash
them?
mobs are definitely Discordian in nature.
Okay.
A great example, and here's a great example that's not in the outline that I wanted to bring up, is the turkey curse.
Thanksgiving?
Okay.
The turkey curse. All right, so if there is a gray face, which is a term for somebody giving out Anaresian vibes, which is basically taking the world seriously, and it's really harshing your vibes, you do the turkey curse, where you stand like you're gonna box, like Queensberry rules and all that, and then you start moving your arms around like a wizard, and you like move your hands like you're fondling a giantess, and you start going at the person. And
Jesus Christ.
the results should be instantaneous.
Yeah, the results are you're getting fired because you're doing that to your boss.
Yeah, pretty much. But that is an example of Operation Mindfuck. Is the turkey curse.
Okay.
So another great example though is Jake Day. I fell in love with the idea of Jake Day. Jake Day is when a particularly inept civil servant or bureaucrat is targeted, and every Discordian cabal that is in contact with each other sends this person a message. Every member is requested to write to this guy. You send messages, requests, and awards on that day. And it bogs them down in the system and basically takes them out for a little while. Another good example is defacing advertisements and billboards, basically taking corporate messages and turning them into revolutionary ideas. It's just this side of anarchy.
So the Chick-fil-A cows are practicing Discordians then.
Shit. You're right. Goddamn.
Well, again, like the tools can be co-opted by the corporations.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
Like we're getting into Netrunner shit here.
Yeah. So
Now, this is just fighting the aliens and they live.
that I am so glad you brought that up because that falls straight into the Fenords thing, which we'll get into in a little bit.
I feel like They Live is probably a Discordian film. Like if you're to put together a short list of like 5 movies that are Discordian movies that help you understand the movement, They Live is one of them.
Yeah, They Live, steal this film, steal this book, which the film was based on. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So, from my readings, Discordians have been having a great time over in Germany and Poland in modern times.
Oh, I'm glad that they made up. Things got pretty rough for them in the 1930s.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And they don't either.
So are they like the Germans I hear about that are like just, going out in fields naked?
They're the fun Germans.
That's the Chaos Magicians, actually. So, yes, technically. The folks...
I just hear a lot of Germans will like just go... There's a word for it. I can't remember.
Well,
But they'll just go out in nature naked. And it's like, that sounds, interesting.
yeah.
Germans have like 2 vibes. They're either incredibly serious
Or not.
or they're
naked.
crazy as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, like, how did Adams come up with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck, Germany. So, there you go. Now, the folks interviewed in Chasing Eris, which, again, fantastic book, highly recommend it. Because the dude interviews, like, the living founders of Discordianism and travels the world talking to groups of Discordians. So, definitely a fascinating read. He says that they still live in the shadow of countries formerly dominated by communism. And Discordianism offers a true freedom from the past, away from what their parents grew up in. And you'll find that seems to be a common theme in countries where revolution is the topic of the day. It's all South America as well.
And the other day I just watched the movie Necromantic, which was a punk rock, because Germany, this is back when the Berlin Wall was still up in Berlin.
Right.
And, horror was banned.
Yes.
So in order to get around that, these punk bands would like cut reels and make their own movies to play in the back of their concerts.
Right.
And I was just thinking about that. As you're talking about this, I'm realizing like, oh shit, Necromantic is like a Discordian. Because that's a fucked up movie if you've never seen it.
I haven't.
Fantastic,
I need to check it out.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah, no, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I should watch Cannibal Holocaust. Or a Serbian
has a beautiful
film.
opening theme,
Yeah.
by the way.
So another interesting thing to come out of Discordianism, and this blew my mind, is the concept of the copy left movement. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I had not heard of it. It's essentially evolved into the Creative Commons
I
license.
was going to say,
Yeah.
That's...
It's the idea of work being open to copy or alter with the understanding that anything made with it is also copy left instead of copyright. The Principia Discordia is one of the very first examples of a copy left doc. It includes the phrase, copy left, all rights reversed.
And, it strikes me that a lot of the fundamental culture of the old internet has some heavy linkage to Discordianism.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to talk a bit about that.
I'm assuming they probably found early refuge and connection.
Oh, yes.
The BBSs of the early internet.
Yeah, the BBSs, Usenet, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But and we, of course, like I said, we're going to go deeper into all this when we do our Operation Mindfuck episode because there is so much to cover with that. Mm-hmm. So let's talk to get to the meat of Discordianism, like the truly funny stuff and what have you. We're going to talk about Discordianism as a religion. Now, it found its home in the pagan and Wiccan groups of the world of the modern day due to its dedication to the goddess Eris. So, at a lot of get-togethers, you can find your Discordians there. Now, those familiar with Greek mythology will know the story of Eris, but for those who don't, a quick rundown from the Principia Discordia itself. And I quote, "It seems that Zeus was preparing a wedding banquet for Peleus and Thetis and did not want to invite Eris because of her reputation as a troublemaker."
This coming from Zeus is pretty bold.
Yes. Now this made Eris angry, and so she fashioned an apple of pure gold and inscribed upon it Callisti, to the prettiest one. And on the day of the fete she rolled it into the banquet hall and then left to be alone and joyously partake of a hot dog. Now, 3 of the invited goddesses, Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite, each immediately claimed it to belong to herself because of the inscription. And they started fighting, and they started throwing punch all over the place and everything.
Hot.
Yeah, kind of. Now, finally, Zeus calmed things down and declared that an arbiter must be selected, which was a reasonable suggestion, and all agreed. He sent them to a shepherd of Troy, whose name was Paris because his mother had had a lot of gall and married a Frenchman. But each of the sneaky goddesses tried to outwit the others by going early and offering a bribe to Paris. Athena offered him heroic war victories. Hera offered him great wealth, and Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman on earth. Being a healthy young Trojan lad, Paris promptly accepted Aphrodite's bribe, and she got the apple and he got screwed. As she had promised, she maneuvered earthly happenings so that Paris could have Helen, the Helen, then living with her husband Menelaus, king of Sparta. Anyway, everyone knows that the Trojan War followed when Sparta demanded their queen back, and that the Trojan War is said to be the first war among men. And so we suffer because of the original snub. And so a Discordian is to partake of no hot dog buns. Do you believe that?
Now, would a tortilla count as a hot dog bun here?
No. Again, back to the semantics of the hot dog bun. I think it is strictly hot dog buns. Like you could use bread or a hamburger bun.
So 2 pieces of bread is not a hot dog bun. But what about 1 piece of bread wrapped around the hot dog?
Not specifically designed to hold a hot dog.
I do want to mention that this story is fantastic. I love the little jokes in there.
The gall of marrying a Frenchman.
That one's like that's funny.
Oh, that tickled me when I read that.
It is a very punny story.
It is. There's a lot of puns in the Principia. Mm-hmm. So again, while silly at its core, Discordianism is a fascinating enough idea that it has serious practitioners around the globe. Its basic structure is made up of cabals founded by various episcopos who received their call to Eris from their pineal gland. Now, Discordians are encouraged to form cabals, argue about what Eris told them, form schisms, and start new cabals.
Just like any religion.
Yep, pretty much. Now, below the episcopos are popes. Every man, woman, child, and anything else is a pope of Discord, and you can get a card stating as such. You're a pope whether you have a card or not. The card just lets everyone else know.
Now, see, usually in other faiths, popes are regularly identified by their holier-than-thou attitudes.
Yeah, see, that's what I like about Discordianism. They also say they are a non-profit religion. Again with the puns.
PHET.
Yes. So, lastly are the saints. Now, most of the saints are fictional characters that embody the Eurasian movement, like Felix the Cat is a saint of discord.
Could Doomslayer be a saint of Discordia?
Absolutely.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Rip and tear.
What about Isabel from Animal Crossing?
Probably. You just want to
Yeah.
pair those two.
No, they're just connected in my brain, so
yeah.
I brought them up back to back.
Sure, yeah. I don't see why not. So her Doomslayer, I believe Tom Sawyer.
That would make sense.
Yes. Now, the second group of saints are Saint Second Class, which is the only group made up of actual people who lived in the real world and lived the life of Discordia. An example is Saint Second Class Emperor the Norton the First, who declared himself Emperor of America and Protector of Mexico. And seriously, look this guy up. It is amazing.
I also heard he protects our computers from viruses.
Yeah.
Better than Saint McAfee, who went
yeah.
insane and moved to South
Speaking
America.
That motherfucker.
Speaking of a fucking Discordian, I think John McAfee would definitely have been a Discordian.
I think he was a tool of Eris, and he didn't know he was a Discordian.
I think it was just
Yeah.
a tool.
Okay, that's fair as well. And also, I recently sainted me and Mike's late friend as Saint Jibo of the Reticulating Splines.
Oh.
Yeah, man loved his Sims. He would do god-awful social experiments of chaos in there. Like
Put all the Sims in the pool, remove the ladder.
No,
Would he make a graveyard?
no. He would invite all the Sims in the neighborhood over, get them in a bedroom, and then remove the door. And just trap them and put a glass front and turn it into a zoo.
I feel like there's an entire cottage industry of studies about how people played The Sims that should be
There
done.
could be psychological thesis on
Oh, yes.
sim management.
I'm pretty sure, like, if they had seen what Saint Jibo did, he would have been stuck in a concrete box.
I was gonna say nothing but like whoopee and poops as far as the eye
Yep.
can see.
So, now a lot of people come to Discordianism due to its sense of belonging to something. It's seen as atheism with ceremony. I mean, there's initiations and rituals and holidays and parables, and there's two bad guys, as it were, in the Discordian religion. The first I mentioned before, Greyface. Greyface is described as a hunch-brained jerk who thought we all needed to take the world seriously and started the idea of not having fun in everyday life, and he is the major source of order and misery.
And he's everyone's dad. I hate you, Dad.
Yeah,
Just
he's-
take your dad
Yeah.
stuff and go back to Dadville.
You're dead, and I'm Doug, and I'm out of here.
That sounds like everyone's buzzkill dad. Well,
It
He
does.
sounds like the dean in any frat house college movie.
Robot House. had to get the obligatory Futurama joke in there. So, but no, we actually have a dude that comes in the store that I am his arch nemesis somehow. And when I read Greyface, his face popped in my head.
oh yeah, Jack Rudy.
Jack Rudy guy.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. Jack Rudy is a tonic. He comes in and buys it, and just he has
Kevin,
never had a good day.
because he was like 3 minutes after closing time, Kevin really like destroyed him because he wouldn't let him in to buy stuff.
Because we can't legally sell anything after 10 p.m.
Well, I
and
mean-
he was just like wailing on the
No,
doors.
we had already like closed the registers and shit.
Yeah.
Like, sure, what he wanted to buy was not technically alcohol.
But we can't sell anything.
Well, no, I
after
mean, we
10.
could. I mean, I guess theoretically we could, but we're already pulling registers and shit. You show up after closing time, you have no right to bitch.
Yeah, no, he's wailing on the doors, just going in this dead monotone, I need to buy something. It's like, we're closed. It's not alcohol. Don't care, we're closed. So, anyway,
Kevin made a Nemesis.
Yeah, no, he will walk past me to someone else's register that no one is at until someone else walks up to check him out. It's fucking hilarious. I am his arch nemesis, and I don't give a shit. So the second enemy is the Bavarian Illuminati. Now, these guys are mentioned in the Principia Discordia, but more as like allies and fellow secret societies. It wasn't until Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea's Illuminatus trilogy paired the two as eternal enemies that people started the idea of them being warring societies, with the Illuminati representing order and the Discordians representing chaos. So that's our two sort of devils, as it were, in the religion.
Who was it? It was August Derleth who kind of like added like the cosmology to Lovecraft's writings, right?
Well, he also added Jesus, so you know, I kind of take
feels
Wilson's,
very much like a.
I take August Derleth's stuff and throw it out the window.
Yeah, it feels very much kind of like an Arkham House, like Derleth, like you know,
Sure.
grand cosmology,
Sure,
good and evil thing.
Except that in this case, Robert Anton Wilson was the better writer.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. No, in this case, it's good, but
Yes.
in principle,
Right. It's kind of like that. All right. So Discordians hold the number 5 to be holy. Now, this is because of what they call the law of 5, saying that everything happens in 5s or multiples of 5s, and if it doesn't, you're just not looking hard enough. They also venerate the number 23, because 2 plus 3 equals 5. But actually, there is a huge conspiracy revolving around the number 23. And we may need to do an episode on numerology in the future that links back to Discordianism and the number 23.
now I'm just gonna tell you, a numerology episode would be my suicide note.
I agree.
Okay.
'Cause, I mean, 5 seems very arbitrary. Like,
It is.
I always
It's
see
completely
3.
arbitrary.
Like,
It's funny
Well,
in the
yeah,
way...
it's part of, yeah.
It's like 42 in The Hitchhiker's
You
Guide.
see 3s. People always see 3s.
Now,
Yeah.
23 is a magical number, though.
It
isn't
is. It is. It is a very magical number. There
Yeah,
are
it
a
was-
lot of There's
Yeah,
a lot
you know
of
why?
coincidences.
You know why?
It's got 2 and 3 in it.
Because it's Michael Jordan's number.
God damn it, motherfucker. That's part of the conspiracy. That he's part of the Illuminati. But we're not going to get into that. That's for the numerology episode. Now, another major part... What?
I mean, I'm pleased as punch that I actually remembered that was his number.
Very good. And how much have you had to drink so far?
Oh, look, aside from what I spilled, I'm like, so that's like a drink and 3/4 in.
If you've got your bingo cards, we just heard Mike's ice clink. So, all right, another major... Okay, now you're doing it on purpose.
Yes, I did.
Another major part of Discordianism is the idea of fnords. The idea is that fnords are hidden words we have been conditioned not to see. They cause depression, anxiety, and terrible feelings, but you don't see them, so you never know why you feel that way. And they are in news stories and articles.
Again, they live.
Yes, exactly. That's where the connection is with they live. It's the same general idea. The only thing that doesn't have fnords, though, is advertising. Ads don't have fnords, so we'll feel great about the products and they make us happy.
Ooh.
And that's why you'll often hear or see Discordians along with the phrase, I have seen the fnords.
Now, see, I heard that if you're particularly eager to uncover them, that you're pining for the fnords.
I want to hit you for that, by the way. I will throw a chair at your face. I just think it would be great if we had some adventures with Fnord Fairlane. But seriously, the thing that gets me about the Fnords is as silly as it sounds, it's also like in my head plausible. And I hate that. And it really came to the forefront again in the Illuminatus trilogy. So fuck. Everything comes back to that. So now all this talk about radical freedoms and silliness has had a very unexpected impact in the world of magic and religion. Specifically, we're going to talk a little bit about chaos magicians. Chaos magic sort of arose in the UK as their answer to Discordianism because, magic was pretty big in the 60s and 70s in the UK.
Yeah, and that was because, witchcraft laws were repealed around that time in the UK.
Exactly. So...
Well, I just remember Magic the Gathering being very popular in the 90s in the U.S.
Baby, it's still popular.
Well, I mean, that's when I was first exposed to it.
We're old.
Yes.
Yeah. So chaos magicians cite Discordianism as a major influence on their practices and view of the world. You can find quotes from the Principia Discordia in a lot of places in Condensed Chaos, the one of the best books about chaos magic. I highly recommend that over the actual original texts, Liber Null and Psychonaut, because those are fairly impenetrable to a degree. They're basically grimoire. Meanwhile, this is a how-to guide. Now, most of the South American Discordians interviewed in Chasing Eris are actually chaos magicians in parts of cabals that are covens. And their lives are ruled by chaos and synchronicity. They live the life. They live the magical life. They do rituals and shit.
Sounds awful.
So they use Sabah's quote as a mantra, since chaos magic is based around using anything and everything magical as long as it works. Hence, nothing is real, everything is, my brain. Anyway, again, we've got a massive series on magic coming sometime in the future where we'll get into all that. Just know that it goes hand in hand with Discordianism in a lot of ways.
The word you're looking for is
permitted.
Permitted.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Long day.
A lot of it could probably be summarized that the vibes are fucked and you try to rewrite them. Now we've talked a little bit about Thornley, and Thornley is a problematic figure in all of this. But I do like his quote from the introduction of the 5th edition of the Principia Discordia.
Yeah.
Quote, "If organized religion is the opium of the masses, then disorganized religion is the marijuana of the lunatic fringe."
Yeah, Kevin.
And coming from him, that is really true.
Kevin told me that earlier, and I would say not marijuana, more like LSD.
Yeah, nobody that really gets into chaos magic with Discordianism is laid back.
Yeah,
what I've
marijuana's too
noticed.
mellowing.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
PCP of the lunatic fringe.
I feel like if you're me and you're into the philosophical idea of it, it's more of a marijuana because you're just basically watching Scooby-Doo all day.
Hello, Maggie.
I would do it, but my throat is so dry from talking right now, I can't do Shaggy, so... Another religious outcome of Discordianism was the Church of the Subgenius. Many of its ideas were adopted by the subgeniuses and combined with the 50s aesthetic and the Lovecraft mythos. So, hello to anyone out there who might be a follower of the almighty J.R. Bob Dobbs.
Now, isn't this your specific brand of Discordianism?
No, because the subgenius is also way pro-capitalism, and to join the religion you actually have to pay $50.
Oh, ew.
Yeah. And in fact...
That's like paying $10 to get access to a forum.
Oh,
Who the
fuck
fuck
off.
would do that?
Fuck you! Now,
That was money well spent.
Yeah,
I'm running on my
I
second
have-
decade of that $10.
I still am mad about that fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles account recovery screen because I could never recover my fucking account.
wow. So, here's the thing. Reverend Stang, the founder of the Church of the Subgenius, has said the only reason he allowed the church to exist is because he knew if it got out of hand, the Discordians would destroy it. And yes, I have an idea for an episode coming up on the Church of the Subgenius as well. I just need to get the Book of the Subgenius, which is not surprisingly overpriced.
Oh, so it's not $150.
No, it's high, but it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to buy like a 80s copy of the Principia Discordia that's going for like $100, but still. If the idea of an atheist religion, though, sounds familiar, you're probably thinking of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
Bunch of posers.
Now, while not directly associated with Discordianism, the Discordians walked so that Pastafarians could run.
Now, it seems pretty impossible to me that Discordianism does not have direct links to whomever kicked off the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
And that's very possible. Also, very nice of you to use that old Mario Brothers Super Show pun there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely standing on the shoulder of giants there.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see that this is sort of the basis for a lot of that sort of stuff.
Like, I always had a problem with the
Pastafarians?
the Pastafarian flying spaghetti monster. Now I know why. It's like they're not the first.
They're not the first. I don't even necessarily think they're the best.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They were just a reinvention for like the aughts.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think it's about time Discordianism came back, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Maybe we could come up with our own.
Oh, you mean like the crab stationists?
Ooh, there you go.
Oh, wait, it was the crustaceanists. My bad. We await the time of the crab apocalypse.
We slather ourselves in melted butter.
I slather myself in butter for him. So, now let's talk about the holidays of the Discordians for a bit. Now, if you want like a detailed list of the official holidays, there are 11 mentioned in the Principia Discordia. And, that's great and all, but the one I really want to mention is not mentioned in there. It was invented in the 1980s by the Discordians, and it is called Moosemas.
So here's my thing. I will adhere to any religion that gives me the most holidays that I can conceivably take from work.
Do you know how many there are in Discordianism?
I mean,
a lot.
Look, if I can get my work to recognize any of them, I'm there. Just start getting big enough to where I can say, no, that's a holiday for me. Can't be here.
Mm-hmm. So
every Monday, I want a religion that every Monday is a holiday.
I could see that. I could get down with that.
Garfieldism. Every Monday is a holiday.
So, we might want to actually add that to the calendar of Discordian holidays. But Moosemas, it's a floating holiday in December, or not. It can be any time of year, or multiple times. It was invented, like I said, in the 80s, so it's not listed in the Principia Discordia. And what you do is you hang up a bunch of pictures of moose all around your house. And then you invite all your friends over for brunch, and you drink mimosas and bloody mooses and other drinks with moose in the name. And you eat snacks like chocolate mousse. And then everybody sings the 12 Days of Moosemas or another carol. And the 12 Days of Moosemas lyrics are very simple. It's very similar to the 12 Days of Christmas, but it's 8 dogs of fucking, 7 dogs of fucking, 6 dogs of fucking, 5 fucking dogs. You get the idea.
Now, the real twist is when you get to 1 and then you have to fuck the dog.
Well, actually, the one is a dog fucking itself. So
the odd numbers of dogs fucking it's just like a Ouroboros of fucking dogs like fucking each other until they like circle back around.
Yep, that's it.
Or nobody wants to be the engine.
It's a daisy chain of dog fucking.
No one wants to be the engine on the dog fucka train.
Oh God.
Well, but no. So here's my problem with Moosemas is that I don't really care for mooses.
I don't either. But I mean, do you need an excuse to have pictures of Bullwinkle up all over the house?
I don't want to see that smug motherfucker looking at
How
me.
How the fuck is he smug? He's an idiot. He doesn't have any kind of pride.
But he thinks he does, Rocky.
Fucking dogs.
Yeah. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a fucking dog out of my ass. So
See, he always thinks he could pull a rabbit out of his hat, but he never does.
no, that's
'cause
just
he's a
stupid.
fucking idiot.
That's just, well, God damn it! I'm not having this argument about
He's
Bullwinkle
getting
the
really
moose.
mad at a cartoon.
What's that?
He's getting really mad at a cartoon.
He is. He's been drinking.
I'm not getting mad. I'm just saying, I
He's
can
getting-
think of more things I would rather have than pictures of mooses, all over my house.
Mises.
I'm just picturing a very drunk Mike just like really getting angry
Just
at Rigby on the regular show.
Oh God, yeah, no, I just picture him sitting there going, "Fucking hate you." So
But he's a raccoon.
honestly, though, it's an excuse, though, like everything else, to get together with your friends, drink, and be silly.
Well, I understand that, but
Yes.
it's the moose thing. I mean, come on. I want a better animal. Snakes or something. I don't care.
Snake mess? What? That's for Halloween, my friend.
Well, social rituals are a funny thing like that. They may not be Discordian, but they are in like a similar wheelhouse if you have like that tight social group that has those weird little rituals and traditions.
So
Yeah.
we've had one. We've been trying to continue it, but
Are you talking about
so adulting gets in the way and everyone forgets. But no, we've been trying our group of friends to do a so you seen Letterkenny,
Yes.
David?
Oh.
So the super soft birthday.
Yeah, we need to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
We've been trying to do a yearly like super soft birthday that basically encompasses
Everybody in March,
everybody's-
April, and
Well,
June.
I mean,
or
it's
May.
kind of everyone,
Yeah.
in general, but everyone in a certain,
Gotta have a
stretch of
cupcake
months.
station.
But we've only ever pulled it off once so far.
Yeah.
So we always like when we're getting together. We're like when it comes up, it's like, yeah, we need to do this super soft birthday,
And
but-
then life happens.
and life
Yeah.
happens.
But I mean, like it's
I
similar
would
thing.
love that, man.
Like Friendsgiving is a good example.
That too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that happens more often,
Yeah,
thankfully.
and then there's like shit, the Halloween party.
Yeah,
that
we used to have a lot of
Yeah.
Halloween parties, but
Those
then
were fun.
The host's kids got old enough that they had to
Tone it down.
well, no, not and just be with them. Like,
Yeah.
when you have
They
kids,
had to do parenting stuff on Halloween. Go
yeah,
figure.
when you have kids, you typically have to devote time to them during the holidays, not your
Right.
weird
And that's-
freaking friends.
Yeah, and but it's still, it's a thing. And another good example of a Discordian holiday that they may not have known is fucking Festivus. Mm-hmm. Festivus is a perfect example of a Discordian holiday. Like,
What you mean? You mean God, I can't remember the character's name. Not Jerry,
George's dad.
George's dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
He didn't invent that.
No, that actually came from one of the writers' dads did that because he hated Christmas so much. They did Festivus. And there's rituals in Festivus that didn't make it into the show. Like his father would put a clock into a sock and nail it to the wall. And when someone asked, "Why did you just do that?" he would say, "It is not for you to know."
That's fucking Discordian. That has
That
to
is
be.
that is so a goddamn Discordian holiday.
So here's the thing. I'm pretty much atheist.
right.
I
Yes.
fucking love Christmas.
Oh yeah, no, I love
I mean,
holidays.
Christmas is awesome.
Yeah.
Like if I had to name the things that Christianity gave us, like Christmas would be up there,
Oh yeah,
right there at the top.
For me, like Halloween's always going to be my favorite holiday because
Yeah.
I'm a spooky bitch.
I mean,
But,
Halloween's cool too. Yes, I love Halloween too.
but yeah, for me it's Thanksgiving. Like
Really?
again, like I don't like getting together with the family or anything like that. But like I've been doing kind of like low key Thanksgivings with Holly, and it's just like being able to like cook for people.
Yeah.
The Mystery Science Theater Turkey Day going
oh
on.
yeah, okay,
The
that's
parade,
a great
that sort of thing.
thing.
Just for me, it's like a low key togetherness thing.
So
I can
okay,
see that.
so
We've done that some.
In
yeah.
Prop 2 ranking, I would go Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving. Kevin, what do you say?
I'm gonna go Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween.
Okay, David.
Yeah, so it'd be Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then I guess I'd throw Christmas in there, mostly because like I like the candy at
Oh, yeah.
Christmas. That's my thing. Like I'm a commercial whore when it comes to Christmas.
Oh,
It's just
sure.
like buying like the Christmas treats and everything.
Oh no,
like that.
my favorite thing is the trappings. Like there's Mary Beta Maximus I will tune into sometimes online where it's a old TV on a website and it
Christmas
just pulls
lights.
it pulls old Christmas specials and old Christmas commercials off of YouTube and plays them like a channel.
Yeah, I'll put it to you this way, listeners. We currently, year round, we have a very long string of Christmas lights wrapped around the room we're sitting in right now.
In the studio, yes, because I told Mike never take these down.
Well, no, I mean, I put them up and I liked them, and they're on a timer, so they come on and off
Right,
automatically. And they're just year round from like sundown till about 2 in the morning. We have
Right.
Christmas lights.
Yep.
Christmas is also when I get the best sleep because they have like the Yule logs going on, and I
Oh,
just
yeah.
put those
Yep,
on at night, and I just fall asleep, man.
Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after this quick break.
You die once, and suddenly you're not invisible. Explore the story of Heed, who was a corpse for a while, but is back to life and trying to learn about just what had happened, only to discover the story is far stranger than that. Inspired by manga, Alter X Artifact is a new LGBTQ+ webcomic for mature readers revolving around magic and political espionage. This comic features fantastic elements, gripping storytelling, and impressive visuals that pull you into the strange but fascinating world of the comic. Alter X Artifact explores themes of magic, dreams, and relationships, all while deftly weaving a compelling mystery with eye-catching visuals. You're still in time to enjoy the exciting prologue as well, but you gotta hurry over onto the website. So, if you're looking for your next weekly webcomic read, you need to go to alterxartifact.com. That is alterxartifact.com. Now back to the show.
And we're back. And before we move on, I just want to say if you head to principiadiscordia.com, you can find a lot of PDFs or online versions of the books that we've been talking about. Not Chasing Eris, but like the actual, quote, holy books. And you can find links to other websites like Historia Discordia, where you can find PDF instructing you on how to celebrate Moosmas. So just wanted to get that out there. Now that we're back, let's talk about Discordianism in pop culture and some of its effects, shall we? Mm-hmm. Now, Discordianism probably would have petered out if it weren't for Wilson and Shea's Illuminatus trilogy, because it was just another counterculture movement for the most part. But Illuminatus is sprinkled with quotes and references to Discordia and the Principia and the Honest Book of Truth, and to get people interested again in the late 70s, and Wilson's writings would continue to fuel the fires of chaos well until his death a few years ago. And again, Illuminatus, it's definitely a product of its time. It's got some material that would be considered problematic today, but it's a hell of a read, man. It's like if Douglas Adams wrote Catch-22.
Well, and if Douglas Adams was like competing against Joseph Heller,
Yes, the
like
writing
chapter
of that
after
series.
chapter, they're fighting each other.
Yeah, they're just writing each other into corners. It's like, all right, fucker, how you getting out of this one? Mm-hmm. And the way they get out in some instances is like, well, the only way to do it is to break the narrative. Mm-hmm. So, again, interesting book. Check it out if you're so inclined. And just be ready to be offended and fascinated. So another thing is, David, are you familiar with, Mike and David actually, are you guys familiar with the band, the KLF?
I gotta say no.
What? They did a song in the 90s called Justified and Ancient with Tammy Wynette.
That I kind of remember.
Okay, and as the Time Lords, they did the song Doctor in the TARDIS, which was a mashup of the Doctor Who theme and a Gary Glitter song.
Fuck.
Okay, so these guys are Discordians.
Okay.
In fact, at one of their last everything they did was Discordian in nature. Their advertising was culture jamming. It was all Operation Mindfuck type stuff. They did like an album premiere where everybody had to put on cult robes and go into a shack and do a ritual and then listen to the fucking album.
That's cool.
So I was reading that. I had to do some Googling because I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But I was getting KLF confused with EMF.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
Oh!
exactly.
Yeah, different band.
Yes, I realize that now. But I was going,
Okay.
wait a minute, wasn't that the Unbelievable band?
Yeah.
But
But KLF, like their original name was the Justified Ancients of Mumu, which is a secret organization in the Illuminatus trilogy that got their start in Lemuria.
These fucking nerds.
I swear to God, man.
I remember you in high school going on about Moo Moo Land.
Yeah, no, the fucking song is catchy as hell, and like I said, it's Tammy Wynette. They even wrote in references to Stand By Your Man for her to sing. And their last big performance, they burned £1 million on... they burned £1 million.
Money pounds.
Money.
Okay.
Now, see, I thought you were going to say they burned Tammy Wynette, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No. She
I thought you were going to
lasted
say like
for
a
many
million
years.
pounds of like marijuana. I'm like, that's a lot of marijuana.
No, money. They took out loans from
Sounds
the
like
banks.
a real Joker moment.
Like big, huge banks. They took out loans and then just set it on fire.
That sounds like one of those art things that's just a fraud scheme.
It's basically a big middle finger. And, I mean, there's a book about them. I would definitely suggest you read up on them because they're a fascinating group and they've got some really decent songs. They also, they broke up in 1992 and they got together, God, when was it? I don't remember. They got together for 23 minutes, at the dawn of the new millennium, I think. 23, of course, being a major number for Discordia. They got together for 23 minutes.
That's funny.
That was
That's
it.
funny.
And they were in makeup as geriatric old men in wheelchairs with oxygen masks. So, let's talk about Fight Club for a second. Operation Mayhem is like mindfuck taken to the next level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the whole destroying a piece of corporate art and all that, that is straight up Discordian. And it's all about, chaos and being free because nothing means anything. Steve Jackson Games, I'm sure you're familiar with them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they did Munchkin, GURPS. They had a board and card game called Illuminati, inspired by the Illuminatus books, but not directly based on them for legal reasons.
Yeah, because they're like selling it, and you can't copyleft it and sell it. For
Yeah,
profit.
well, Illuminatus is copyrighted.
Oh, okay.
So,
Which is so fucked when you think about it.
yeah, I know, but that's all with the publishers. Now, they even published a copy of the Principia Discordia known as the black cover copy, because it's copyleft. Anybody can publish a copy of the Principia Discordia. Also, Steve Jackson, one of their members was doing Operation Mindfuck stuff on BBSs and would do it at work, and their offices were raided by the fucking FBI, and they sued them and won
Hell yeah.
for raiding and stealing their computers and not giving them back. So that's really fascinating. This is one that I thought was hilarious once I read the book. Everybody knows Adam Savage's famous quote from the beginning of Mythbusters, "I reject your reality and substitute my own." That is a line from Illuminatus.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of references in pop culture to 23 that go back to Discordianism. So, we'll do an episode about that eventually.
But everything after 90, obviously, just referencing Michael Jordan.
Sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And you can trace the X-Files back to Illuminatus and Discordianism.
And that's the thing. As much as there is that idea that, like, the Illuminati controls the media, which is ridiculous, pop culture is littered with Discordians planting ideas and themes as satire, which is kind of fulfilling that paranoia of the Illuminati that the Illuminatus trilogy was lampshading to begin with.
Yeah, and that's one of the things they do is they're like, oh, if we spread more of it, it'll make it seem stupider. No, that's not how that works, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
That, in fact, that is what was it Robert said in the Illuminati series on Behind the Bastards? It's like leaving a loaded gun on a table in a room full of 4-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's the philosophical equivalent of that.
That is the most evocative statement I have ever heard, by the way.
It really is. And I was like, wow, man, you got to be careful with some of this shit. Which does bring us to the bad things.
Because we're not allowed to have pure fun all the time.
No, there is no pure fun anymore. And while all this does sound pretty fun, there is a danger lying at the heart of all this. The ideas behind Operation Mindfuck can be used and have been used by anyone to make people question reality. All we have to do is look at the far right's rejection of any truth that doesn't follow their narrative to see that there are some dangerous ways this can be used, because the left started this with Operation Mindfuck. The right just adopted it. I mean, also, spreading conspiracies for fun and profit has led to some awful things in our lives. I mean, we elected a criminal TV host and slumlord to the office of president. The Flat Earth Society has made a comeback in the modern era. Mike, what's it saying about satire not being seen as satire?
Yeah, there's one of those internet laws. I can't remember which number it is. But yeah, it's... Well, I don't know. Yeah.
We reach a point where satire is unrecognizable as satire.
Well, yes, there is that. Yes, that satire is so out there, loops back around to being plausible.
Right.
Can't remember. I think that's Poe's law, isn't it?
Yes.
Because Godwin's law is Nazis.
Yeah.
Poe's law.
Poe's law is the satire one.
Yes.
Right. And all of this is really fucking hilarious to me, since one of the original major targets of the Discordians in the 60s was the fucking John Birch Society, which is
redneck Nazis.
Redneck Nazis that are anti-fascist and anti-communist.
Yeah, a lot of modern day troll aesthetics and techniques owe a lot to Discordianism.
Oh,
again,
yeah.
it's the toolkit that was created, and then unfortunately, that tool is out there and anyone can use it.
Yep. It's funnier when it's not. Yeah.
Yep.
So saying that John Birch Society is anti-fascist, it's like being anti-fascist by being differently fascist.
Well, they're not self-aware.
Yeah,
I know.
They think they're anti-fascist, but they're really fascist.
Yes,
I'm glad that they're not as big as they were, of course.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and then it loops back around to people claiming that Antifa is itself fascist. It's like,
it's in the name, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Fascism is in the name, so there you go.
Oh,
say
fuck.
that they're fascist for, being Antifa.
I don't understand that, but excuse me. As I said before, the Discordians, really early adopters of the internet,
Of course.
in the mid to late 90s with a huge influence on internet culture and humor. I would say that like a lot of Something Awful's humor was kind of Discordian in a way.
Probably, yeah.
Not to give Lotax any real credit here, but
No.
like the community he collected
I would say, yeah.
is
I'd say-
modern Discordianism.
I'd say if not Discordian in actual name, at least
Oh.
Discordian in
Spirit.
philosophy gravitated towards.
Because, I mean, the Something Awful's slogan was the internet makes you stupid.
But it's on the internet.
Yes,
But it makes you stupid.
exactly.
But it's on the internet.
Right.
But it makes you stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
It's catch-22.
Yes. Again with the catch-22. Now, communities for Discordianism sprung up on Usenet with alt.discordia, CompuServe, AOL, anyone feel old yet? And all the major online communities had a Discordian component. And it continued to thrive for years via forums like the one on PrincipiaDiscordia.com. Now, though,
When we need it the most.
yes, one of the guiding sayings of the movement is we Discordians must stick apart, and by God have they. Most links to sites, blogs, and communities are dead. The remaining forums are shadows of their former selves. In fact, on the PrincipiaDiscordia.com forum, there's a post saying, hey guys, this forum is a dead old forum.
Just like the dead gay Something Awful forum.
Yes. The remaining forums are shadows of their former selves, and the Facebook groups are like anything else, mostly just places to post memes. And that's
depressing. Like Discordians on Facebook, that just feels weird.
It does. There is a subreddit r/Discordia.
I understand it, like from early days of Facebook, but late post.
They've been on there for a while, so
Okay.
they always adopt something, and then like it turns into what it turns into.
Postmodern Facebook.
Yeah.
You know,
I spend most of my time on the subreddit these days, which still a lot of memes, but you do get some really interesting stuff. Like there's a guy posting the most schizophrenic reports of dealing with Greyface. Like this guy is talking about rocket ships and shit.
Hell yeah.
Now, I will say the German communities and communities outside of the U.S. seem to be doing really well.
So Kevin, there's all this faltering and flailing, flagging,
And other F words.
and internet presence.
Right.
But surely Discord, the one true social media conglomerate, has a strong Discordian presence.
Not a goddamn server.
Fuck. What a wasted opportunity.
There was one, it lasted for a month.
Wow.
I have thought about starting one. And I'm still thinking about it.
We would lose you to it.
Yes, but
I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down and tell you not to do it.
damn it, David. Daddy!
No, Kevin, sorry.
Maybe one day, if you get your grades up, son. So, in conclusion, where does this leave Discordianism today? I can't tell you. There may be armies of one-person cabals out there just waiting for the time to launch a new Operation Mindfuck against the world to try to pull us back from the brink of sanity. Or there could be in other countries. They could be in other countries making real and amazing social changes. Or, and this may be the saddest part, everyone may have just moved on. Maybe it's time for a new generation, though, to find Discordianism. And they can decide what it's going to be in the future. And that just leaves one question, guys. Have you seen the Fnords?
Ooh. You know, going back to what you said about the German communities a couple minutes ago, the other thing is that because Discordianism isn't an inherently anti-organization, down to parroting the apparatus of religious and governmental organizations, that is what I think is going to allow Discordianism to persist.
Right.
You know, as long as there are random assholes out there operating and being weird within the tenets, Discordianism is still thriving. All it takes is another, like, Illuminatus trilogy or pop cultural resurgence to recharge the idea en masse, and we know that history can be cyclical in that regard.
And that's very true. Did I mention I'm writing a book?
So I would say it just sounds kind of like Discordianism kind of ran its course. It did what it set out to do. Like look
change society.
Look at society today. We are a lot more pro-individual and pro-individualistic thinking than we were in the 60s.
Very true.
I think they kind of, it's fallen by the wayside because it achieved its goals.
There's that, but it's also a huge part of it is the individuality of it is you know, they don't get together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that they, like, you know, it was kind of to drive a pry bar between humanity and, like, the standardized religions.
Yes. Right.
Not necessarily an atheist mindset, but a anti-establishment mindset.
Absolutely.
They weren't, like, pro, you know, all in, you know, don't believe in anything. They're more of a believe in whatever the fuck you want to believe, whatever that feels right.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin, you can attest to this. I don't know, David probably a little less so, being he's from hippy dippy land. But when we were growing up,
damn son,
we were growing up, it was, you were expected to fall in line with your parents' religion. I mean, it was expected.
It was expected in other families. My parents were extremely unique in that they didn't go to church, and my mom told me, whatever you decide.
You could think that, you know, 10 years, 5 years prior.
Oh, you know, I'd be going to church with them on a Sunday.
So you and me are kind of similar.
If my mom hadn't been thrown out of that church because they said she had a demon in her.
Yeah. But you and me are a little similar in that our parents weren't, but we were the exception. Especially in our
that's totally
geographical and socioeconomic
in the buckle
standing.
of the Bible Belt.
See, my journey wasn't too much. So I have a very, very religious grandmother.
Right.
And then my mom kind of like got away from the church, but then she kind of found it again for a while and that sort of thing. Like they tried to make church a thing for me. Didn't take.
Yeah.
You know,
didn't really bother to keep it up. Right.
Yeah. But you know, the other thing I'm thinking about regarding Discordianism is that, like, it is an ascended meme at this point.
It is.
The original context may be lost on most people, but the meme exists and persists and mutates. Like one thing, like, I don't know if the cartoon Gravity Falls is Discordian.
I could see that
in spirit.
And with all the conspiracies and shit, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, given, like, if we're thinking about Discordianism as a meme that has ascended, it's in that, and that's, I think, the ultimate legacy of what Discordianism is that, it changed the world and it changed the view.
And I feel like Welcome to Night Vale kind of carries on the tradition a bit, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
So we've touched upon that, you know, the media presence of Discordian ideas. And I think those have really been what's permeated, if not necessarily Discordianism itself, but some of the tenets and spirits that kind of diffused itself through media and kind of stuck into, you know,
it got stuck in the world's craw.
Yeah, it's got stuck into young people's brains that, you know, hey.
We were indoctrinated without ever actually joining.
I wouldn't say indoctrinated, but more of, you know, prompted to question everything.
Yes. And that is one of the big things Robert Anton Wilson said, is question. I don't believe anything, but I suspect a lot.
Because no one ever told me to not believe. It's just I started kind of questioning things, and the answers I came up with was that just doesn't add up.
Sure.
I mean, I can never, I'm a bad atheist, well, not bad, but I am not a, normal atheist you think of as like Dawson and Penn Jillette, and they're kind of very
Or Randy.
evangelical atheists.
Yeah.
And I'm not that way. I'm never going to tell anyone that, what you
You're
believe
not
is
devout.
wrong. I'm just going to say that it didn't, my own experiences brought me to question and not believe, the doctrine I was handed. And, you come up with your own.
Right. And that's also
Situation.
part of chaos magic is personal experience trumps what anyone else has to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, so to a degree, I believe that, but also, then you start getting into flat earther.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. That's the problem. It's always a double-edged
Yeah.
sword with this.
Yes.
But again, it's that toolkit. That toolkit
Yes.
that can do incredible things for society,
Or it can take a shit
person's
on
own
your
experiences.
Your personal experiences are good, but then
Until they're not.
I just realized I'm like going, oh fuck.
Yeah.
What corner have I painted myself into?
No,
now?
no, that's the same problem I had writing this, where I was like, this is a dangerous toolkit in the wrong hands, but it's out there anyway.
Yeah.
And I trust most of our listeners. Most.
That's brave. That's brave.
Yeah, I know. But before we go, there's something special I wanted to do here. And Mike and David, Mike, have you got the document open?
Yes.
Okay, great. Down toward the bottom. Before we go, I'm gonna get you guys to help me with something, and I want you guys to do the callback parts I have in bold for me. I'm going to perform the Discordian baptismal rite for our listeners, and if you'd like to join, you can just speak along with Mike and David. All right? You guys okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, this is the POEE baptismal rite.
Poe.
And I'm going to do a little bit up front here from the Principia. This mystery rite is not required for initiation, but it is offered by many POEE priests to proselytes who desire a formal ceremony. 1. The priest and 4 brothers are arranged in a pentagon with the initiate in the center facing the priest. If possible, the brothers on the immediate right and left of the priest should be deacons. The initiate must be totally naked to demonstrate that he is truly a human being and not something else in disguise like a cabbage or something.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Good
2.
thing I'm nude right now.
Yes. 2. All persons in the audience and the pentagon, except the priest, assume a squatting position and return to a standing position. This is repeated 4 times or more. This stance is symbolic of the humility of we Eresians.
It also gets your leg day in.
It does. Then the priest begins. I, Razmataz the Elder, keeper of the sacred fromage, KSF, ordained priest of the Parotheo Anamity Mystichood of Eris Esoteric, with the authority invested at me by the High Priest of It, Office of the Polyfather, the House of the Rising Podge, POEE, Head Temple, do herewith require of ye. Are ye a human being and not a cabbage or something?
Yes.
That's too bad. Do ye wish to better thyself?
Yes.
Yes.
How stupid. Are ye willing to become philosophically illuminized?
Yes.
Very funny. Will ye dedicate thyself to the holy Eresian movement?
Probably.
Probably.
Then swear ye the following after me. Before the goddess Eris, I, name her holy name,
Before the goddess Eris, I, David Davis,
sorry.
I'm lost.
Okay. do herewith declare with a POE brother or sister or other of the Legion of Dynamis. I fucked that up. Okay, anyway, you would repeat this. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You said, you should say the bold parts, but there's a lot of bold.
I forgot to bold that. Anyway, before the goddess Eris, I, your name, do herewith declare myself a POEE brother or sister or other of the Legion of Dynamic Discord. The priest continues, then I do hereby proclaim ye, POEE disciple, name, Legionnaire of the Legion of Dynamic Discord. Hail Eris, hail, 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 yes. All present rejoice grandly. The new brother or sister opens a large jug of wine and offers it to all who are present. Their ceremony generally degenerates.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. So if you read along with that, congratulations. You are now a member of the POEE and a member of the Legion of Dynamic Discord. Choose yourself a holy name. If you don't agree with my views on Discord, start your own damn cabal.
I'd rather be a member of the static Discord.
Ooh.
I'm rigid and unchanging.
Yes, you are. No, you're not.
I know I'm not.
Man, you wanted to be a fucking fighter pilot when I met you. Like, you have a woman's legs. No, well, this has been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it turned out to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know you were really worried about it, but I think you did a good job here. I think it's a nice
thank you.
a start.
It took me like a month of working on this fucking outline and trying to figure out the angle of how to explain what is essentially the unexplainable.
I wouldn't say unexplainable, but more of like slippery and hard to pin down.
Like a fish.
Yes.
It's like laying on
Or
a catfish.
An oiled cat that is pissed off.
Yes. Why the fuck would you do that?
They're Discordians. They'd do anything.
Hey, that's true. But I don't know. I started reading about this because of last podcast, and I was like, I'm less interested in the chaos magic and more interested in whatever the hell this Discordia thing is. And the more I read about it, the more I was like, there's a lot more to this than just silly. So, and just the entire idea, it's really freed me from worrying about some things and being more along the lines of, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Then the medication.
Yeah, I'm sure the medication did definitely have a role to play here, but
Yeah, well, it allowed me to let go.
yeah. But no, like I get the vibes behind this. Like, number one, it's silly fun, but also like it creates an interesting worldview that with moderation can really help out in a number of ways.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, what was it Tyler Durden said when they were in the car? You determine your own level of involvement. Mm-hmm. And I know my level, and I know where I'm going. So,
To quote the lyricists of a generation in vogue, free your mind and the rest will follow.
goddamn, son, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Those women help make me a man. Anyway. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this. Next week, of course, we're going to be doing a Weekend Weird, and after that, David has something. What have you got lined up for us, David?
I'm thinking we're going to do a dive into La Llorona.
La Llorona! I can't tell you how many TikTok videos I've seen of people doing that and then, like, throwing their car in reverse while something runs at them on a road.
I can't even tell you how many times I thought I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It's well, you know what? You'll find out in 2 weeks.
I will.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Maybe I'll find out. Maybe I'll be a Chinese jet pilot.
Wow, we're going straight with Army of Darkness here, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Well, again, you can find a link to everything you need for us on supernatpod.rocks. You can find us on Mastodon, because fuck Twitter, at supernatpod, at horrorhub.club. There's a link to our individual Masto accounts in the bio there. Don't forget, we do have a Patreon. We're also going to be recording something this weekend that's going to go up on the feed as a test for a new project. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be real fun. And we'll have some more stuff coming after that. So, David, you got anything to plug?
Not really. I had a couple weeks where things are kind of fucked, so I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things. But ask me next week.
Okay, we'll do that then. I'll ask you next week. Mike, have you got anything to plug?
No. I keep thinking I need to come up with something for this spot, but
like joke or
I keep not doing it.
A joke or a project or something?
If so, how about this? How about I give a shout out to one of the things I enjoy?
There you go.
On YouTube, Technology Connections. A really nerdy but cool guy who does deep dives into. It's basically you think about like kind of modern technology mixed with like Connections, James Burke.
Ooh, I love that show.
He's done a lot of like audio visual stuff.
Is that guy that disassembles stuff and tells you about it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he does a little bit sometimes, but his like one of the things that really hooked me with he did a like 4-part series on like the Laserdisc and the CED, the capacitive.
Is that the big record?
Yeah, that's the CED was the competitor or precursor to Laserdisc. That was basically a record
in a giant floppy disk sleeve.
Yeah, in a caddy.
Yes. I knew people with that from the like late 70s, early 80s.
It's one of those like forgotten, almost forgotten technology.
It was double sided like a laser disc.
Yeah. So pretty cool. You know, he's done like he's opened my eyes on several things like about heat pumps and EVs, better understanding EVs and stuff like that. So check him out. He definitely doesn't need more subscriber help, but you know, I like his channel.
Hey, that's the important thing. We're not just trying to get people listeners. We're sharing stuff we enjoy.
Yes,
in fact, I think that will be a fun thing we do at the end of the episodes going forward. So I think next week each of us will have something like that. How's that sound, David?
Well, that kind of sounds like something that we are going to be trying regarding another thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a thing with another thing and a thing.
So that's more of consumerism, but this is just kind of like makers doing their thing that I like.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome.
No, it's cool, man. It's
cool. Thank you for that, Mike.
Sure.
And so we'll be back next week. We will see you next time. So until then, stay safe and stay frosty. Goodbye.
Cool as a cucumber, baby.
Until it turns into a pickle.
So a hot dog is a sandwich then, right?
I mean, technically, it's meat in bread. So, I mean, yes.
It's a fucking taco. A hot
It is
dog's
a goddamn sandwich.
Taco.
It's a fucking sandwich. A taco is technically a Mexican sandwich.
A Mexican sandwich is a torta, dude.
God damn it, man. A taco is one, too. It's just like the bread's super toasted.
Then sushi's a Japanese sandwich.
I'm not arguing against that. This podcast is over.